What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is part of a series where I focus on Academy Award Best Picture nominees. And of course, I've done such years in the past, such as 2000 all the way to 2016. You clicked on this video, so you know this time around I'm focusing on the 2017 Academy Award Best Picture nominees and ranking them from worst to best. This was yet another year where they had preferential voting. And if you don't know, 1940s to 2008, they had it where it was 5 Best Picture nominees, and then 2009 to present day, they have it where they had the possibility of up to 10 Best Picture nominees. 2017 was yet another one of those years where it was like, hey, we're going to give it, instead of like the full 10, because of the way the voting worked, we're going to give it instead 9. So for this video, I'll be ranking them from 9 being the worst to 1 being the best, and of course, my personal opinion. Definitely going to be looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on your ranking down below. But guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, number 9, we have Darkest Hour, which is a Joe Wright movie. And truthfully, Darkest Hour, I was quite looking forward to this movie when I saw it in theaters. But after coming out of it, I was like, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I really wasn't a fan of the way it was shot. I thought the pacing was off. It's got good acting for sure. Gary Oldman does quite a good job. The makeup's great. But it is a very, very dry movie, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a movie that for me, I just thought it was okay. I can see why some people might like this movie, but for me, I gotta say, I just thought it was That's why it's my number 9. Next up, my number 8 is The Post. The Post is a good film. It is very well acted. It's well paced. It's pretty well shot. Thing about it is this: it doesn't really beg me to want to revisit this film. I saw it in theaters. I liked it, but like I said, I just haven't had the urge to revisit it. But at the same time, if someone were to say, hey, do you recommend The Post? I would say, yeah, I liked it. It's a good film, but you just kind of have to know your expectations. Like if you're expecting a film that's going to like change your life, or a film that's like, really thought-provoking, it's not that film, but it is for 2 hours, quite an entertaining film, and it gets everything done well. Just again, not a film that really I got too much from, but though who knows, maybe other people did, and I can definitely respect that if that's the case. But yeah, that was my number 8. Next up, my number 7 onwards. I own all these movies on physical media. My number 7 is Lady Bird. Love this film, love it. I saw it 3 times in theaters. This was the film that when it came out in 2017, I needed it. I really needed this film. There's a lot of elements of this film that I was able to relate to. Not to get too personal, but I just really was able to relate to the lead character. And at the same time, it is a very, very brisk film. It's only like 93 minutes. Not a second is wasted. This is a film where you get to know the characters. It's both balancing comedy and drama, and it does so in the seamless way, honestly. It's a film that is very, very good, and at the same time, the themes and messages are very stick to your rib. If you haven't seen Lady Bird, I would definitely recommend you check it out because it is a really, really good film. It is only number 7 because there were 6 other films that were great, and it just so happened that this got the short straw. So, again, still love this film, though. But yeah, that is my number 7. Next up, my number 6 is Phantom Thread. So similar to Lady Bird, I love this film. I love it. I think it is a great film. It is very subtle. The pacing is very slow for sure, which is definitely a anti-staple of Paul Thomas Anderson. Like when you think Paul Thomas Anderson, you think about his fast-paced, nature of his films. This is more in line with like There Will Be Blood, where it's more of a slow burn. And I will say that overall, the slow burn is very much so worth it. I think that the ending in particular is really stick to your rib. Daniel Day-Lewis gave an incredible performance. If you're new to the channel, he's my favorite actor. In some ways, this film was kind of sad because he, as of right now, has said that he's retired from acting. So that's 6+ years so far that we haven't seen a Daniel Day-Lewis film. And it's a shame. I love him as an actor. I think he's great. He does a great job in this film. Vicky Krieps does a great job in this film. Leslie Manville. It's a very well-acted film. It's got a great score by Johnny Greenwood. It's very, very well shot. There's just a lot to appreciate this film. Not going to be for everyone, especially the pacing, but I do think that if you're able to be on this film's wavelength, you'll really dig it, the same way I did. And, yeah, Phantom Thread is my number 6. Next up, my number 5, we have 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Themes and messages that are very relevant and with each passing year seem to be more and more so. This film is also balancing, similar to Lady Bird, it's balancing drama and comedy, and it does so in a pitch-perfect way. I never felt that the comedy got in the way of the drama and vice versa. I think that Frances McDormand gave us an incredible performance. Carter Burwell's score is outstanding. The cinematography really makes you feel like you're in the setting. It honestly feels like it's a populated character in itself with this town. I like the cinematography, the usage of one long take in particular involving Sam Rockwell. No spoilers, but that scene is also like, holy cow, it's so good. I know some people that don't like this film, and I can see why, because this is a very angry film. But I do think that the themes and messages on how like violence on top of violence just leads to more violence, and it's a never-ending circle. I do think that it is a very timely and important message, and I definitely recommend this film. I think it is a great film, and yeah, that's why it's my number 5. Next up, my number 4. This is the film that I predicted would win Best Picture, but it didn't. My number 4 is Get Out. Get Out is a very, very rewatchable film. It is a film that has a screenplay that I would argue is perfect. There are so many details in this script that I just love peeling back the layers. You'll see a scene and then it's like, the first viewing, you're just like taking it literally, and then you peel the layers back of that scene upon rewatch. You're like, oh, okay, so that's why the character did this. Like, it wasn't because of this. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Or like little things such as like, a cop stopping them, and then that like one of the people not wanting them to for the badge, like to see the ID and everything. It's like it's one of those things where upon first viewing you think it's a certain way, and then upon rewatch you're like, oh, this is why they did that. Again, trying to be vague here, and I'm kind of slipping on my words, so I apologize about that. But I just love the details of this film. It's great, especially in terms of its pacing. I love Get Out. I would definitely say that for me, this is Jordan Peele's best film thus far, and I would highly recommend you check this out if you haven't done so already. But yeah, Get Out, that was my number 4. Next up, my number 3 is Call Me By Your Name. A romance masterpiece. I think this film is lovely. Truthfully, I think the romance between the leads is incredible. I think that it feels so natural. I love the cinematography and how there's so many different long takes. And it's not even just like long takes. It's the fact that it's long takes that are very still. And they let the room kind of breathe, so to speak. Soundtrack's incredible. I love the songs on this. Visions of Gideon in particular is a standout. Mystery of Love. I mean, it's got a great soundtrack. And I'm someone that usually likes scores, like film scores, which is more of like instrumental based. Soundtracks, obviously, lyrical based. So I usually lean heavily towards scores. So the fact that I'm praising the soundtrack for this film should tell you something. The ending is heartbreaking, and honestly, I'm not angry that we're probably not going to get a sequel, because I think that this film does hold up on its own. I love this film. Michael Stuhlbarg's speech at the end is it's brilliant. It's great stuff. If you haven't seen Call Me By Your Name, I would highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, Call Me By Your Name. It's my number 3. Next up, my number 2, we have Dunkirk. So don't be fooled. Dunkirk I actually do it on 4K. The reason why I have the Blu-ray slipcase is because I did own it on Blu-ray, but when the 4K came in the mail, it didn't come with the slipcover because I was a little bit too late buying the 4K. But I love Dunkirk. Dunkirk is incredible. The way it's shot, the cinematography is outstanding. Hans Zimmer's drone score, really good stuff. I love the nonlinear storytelling, which is very fitting given it is a Christopher Nolan film. Directing is very strong. It's a PG-13 war film, but truthfully, that doesn't get in the way of the actual visceral nature of this experience. I liked the ending quite a bit. I mean, in true Christopher Nolan fashion, the ending is great. I know some people that don't like this film because, hey, there's no character development. But truthfully, I think that the character development is in the characters experiencing this war and how they deal with it. That is, in my opinion, character development. It's a masterpiece. I love Dunkirk. It is an incredible film. If you haven't watched it already, I would highly urge you to do so. And yeah, Dunkirk is my number 2. Next up, my number 1. It is also the film that happened to have won Best Picture in 2017. And my number 1 is The Shape of Water. I loved The Shape of Water. It was my second favorite film overall of the year. Blade Runner 2049 takes the cake for my favorite film of 2017. But The Shape of Water was my second. And that's why when it won Best Picture, I was very happy that it won. I did not think it was going to win. I really didn't, because I thought that if you compare, I know it was like a 3-way race. It was like 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri versus Get Out versus Shape of Water. And of the 3, I don't know. I saw I saw Get Out winning Best Picture. That was just kind of like what I was imagining, especially because I knew that it was going to win Screenplay. Shape of Water was kind of a surprise in that aspect because it didn't win Screenplay or editing, and some of the precursors to a Best Picture winner. But I'm very happy it won. I think that it's a film that balances many different genres and somehow, in true Del Toro fashion, blends it seamlessly in a way that is both emotional but very also entertaining and thought-provoking. This is a film that I treasure. I'm so glad it won Best Picture, and yeah, that's why it's my number one. So yeah, guys, that is my ranking for all the 2017 Best Picture nominees. Let me know your ranking in the comment section down below. And guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. The subscription, notification bell, follow me down on Letterboxd, and I will get you guys later.